Here we go again.
No, not again.
You've been fooled.
How long have we been doing this?
Once more unto the
Again until we're both dead.
Hello and welcome to You've Seen It Before, movie reviews of Connections in Mind. 4th of July is almost upon us, and in honor of that, I decided to review a movie that is well known to a lot of people and is traditional on Independence Day, and of course, it's the film ID4 Independence Day. I've already done a review of Independence Day Resurgence. In fact, it was the first film review that I did for this channel. And I felt it would be fun to do a quick little review of Independence Day. And to add an extra little twist, I've decided to do a review of comparison of only films that Roland Emmerich has directed and produced. Now, of course, this review will contain spoilers of Independence Day and the other films that will be listed below. And if you have not seen Independence Day yet, or any of the films listed below, and want to wait until you have, you can stop the video at this point and come back later. But with these things in mind, though, let's begin. So, Independence Day has a very simple plot. It's about a group of aliens coming to Earth, and it just happens to be 4th of July weekend. We don't know why they're here. When they originally entered the atmosphere over a bunch of major cities over the world, including Washington, New York, LA, and a bunch of others. But of course, it's America. We only care about the American cities getting destroyed for some reason. And of course, these we try to make contact with the aliens, but they don't care. They just want to. Pretty soon, we figure out what their main goal is. They just want to blow stuff up, and of course, consume our natural resources, and then move on. But of course, us Americans, and of course the rest of the world, we don't want to stand for that, and we want to fight back. And as President Whitmore has said,
We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
there's really not a whole lot to this movie. It's all about things blowing up, and us, and America is awesome. We're going to beat those aliens. Yeah! So, as you might imagine, there's some many different parallels with between Independence Day and a bunch of other films that have come out before it. But I feel like it'd be more fun to show how a lot of Roland Emmerich films, as Roland Emmerich did produce and direct this film, it might be fun to just point out the difference, the similarities that crop up in a lot of Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin films. So, without further ado, let's go into the obvious ones and go from there. Starting from oldest to newest, Independence Day features a very outmatched military going up against the alien force and eventually destroying their mothership and freeing the people on the planet below from alien domination. That was very similar in plot to Roland Emmerich and his film Stargate, the film starring Kurt Russell and James Spader. And of course, that film follows a group of American military men going on through the Stargate to a different planet. They find out that this planet's human population has been transplanted from Earth. They are now as slaves to the alien known as Ra. And the human military is very outmatched by these aliens, but they somehow get the people together, lead a resistance against these aliens, and they use a nuke to destroy the alien mothership above. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's basically the same as Independence Day, where the outmatched military somehow finds a way to defeat the alien ships on Earth, and of course, they transport a nuke up to the alien mothership orbiting above, and the aliens are destroyed, saving the day. Moving on, there's another small similarity, of course, but it's a very important one, where the U.S. military, of course, the final battle involves a whole bunch of aircraft going up against the threat of, in this case, the aliens, and they ended up destroying this great threat from above using their jet aircraft in order to destroy it. And of course, this was repeated with first American Godzilla starring Matthew Broderick. And of course, the climax of that film features the creature of Godzilla being killed by jet aircraft when Godzilla is tangled up on the Brooklyn Bridge. And of course, the jets also destroyed Madison Square Garden and the nest of Godzilla's offspring. So again, there's another similarity in a Roland Emmerich film. Now we've moved past the original Independence Day to another Roland Emmerich disaster film, The Day After Tomorrow, in which both The Day After Tomorrow and ID4 feature cataclysmic destruction being caused on U.S. soil in different cities. The most obvious example being the scene in which a ginormous tidal wave is enveloping New York City, and the waves are following the streets, causing massive destruction, and people have to outrun these waves. Now, of course, this is basically a retcon of Independence Day's destruction, which Independence Day, of course, in New York, the alien ship orbiting New York destroys the Empire State Building first, and the flames of destruction follow the streets of New York, killing everyone else as it goes on. And of course, yeah, the same thing, except Day After Tomorrow, it's a giant tidal wave instead of fire from above. Finally, moving the most recent Roland Emmerich film that Independence Day seems to remind Amelia of is Roland Emmerich's 2012, of course, released in 2009, in which both of these films, 2012 and Independence Day, feature a bunch of basically civilians and not very experienced civilians having to make their way to a classified installation in order where the fate of humanity will be decided. Then Independence Day, it's not only Jeff Goldblum's character, who is a civilian but happens to have high connections with the president, but also Randy Quaid's character teaming up with Will Smith's character in order to make it to Area 51, where, of course, the main crux of the final battle takes place. In 2012, it's the civilian characters, the main civilian characters who we care about, making their way to China into and the Himalayas in order to get to the Ark site, where all the Arks are being loaded, and that's where the rest of humanity will be saved, theoretically. So there you have it. There are my main connections with Independence Day. It's a Roland Emmerich film, and just like Michael Bay in my review of Transformers before this, Roland Emmerich has a formula, and with very few exceptions, he tends to repeat very same notes throughout. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't see this film. This is definitely an American icon, and definitely something you should see this 4th of July. And also, one last thing, this film also shares a distinction with the Roland Emmerich film in that this is so good it has to be repeated again many decades later in order to try to make a success. That would be Independence Day Resurgence. So go ahead, watch my review of Independence Day Resurgence, and but just don't see the movie just because it wasn't all that great. It was just basically this film. This film is far superior. It's the same plot, only way better than its sequel. And yeah, watch my review of how Independence Day Resurgence is basically the same as Star Wars The Force Awakens. So that's my review of Independence Day. I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate whatever audience I get. And my next video will be for the release of Spider-Man Homecoming on July 7th. And look for my You've Seen Before review and written review. I'll include a link there as well. I do written reviews on IMDb. So yeah, have a great 4th of July. And just remember, there's nothing new under the sun. And yes, you have seen it before. So until next time, thank you.